One Up Ghost 12 says, "Yo, my guy, how do you even understand this stuff? Like, do you read the whole Schedule 1 code to make this or what?" I mean, partly yes, but you know, it's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle, you know. Some of the pieces are from the game, and some of the pieces I've made up myself, right? So it's like you're working with two different types of code. One which is maintained by the developers of the game, and one which is my own creation, basically. So the thing that I'm working with right now is an additive to the base game. It's something that I've created to complement the features of the game. So I have a good idea of what my code contains, and in addition to that, there is a benefit from understanding and memorizing the functionality of the game and the code base. One Up Ghost 12 asks, "How do you keep up with the game's variable naming while working on your own code?" Well, that's where the IDE comes in. So the interactive development environment, which I'm using VS Code here, right? So it has a program called IntelliSense. So what that does is it takes the DLL file basically, so the game code.dll, and then it tries to find certain namespaces, right? It's trying to find the namespaces. For example, here I am declaring that I'm using the persistence, messaging, cartel. These are all the namespaces that I'm importing into my project basically for it to work. So whenever I'm, for example, calling some function, let's say that the NPC has a region. Now, if the game code updates, and suddenly this is a lowercase r, so it's like this in the game code, it's gonna show me an error here, and the mod won't compile at all. So the IDE and the programs embedded within it, they do a lot of the work for you. You just gotta know how to use them basically. So that's what gives it away. Instantly you can see that it has this red underline. So I won't be able to compile the mod, and it will tell me exactly what it does. So here it says NPC does not contain a definition for region and no accessible extension method for region. So that basically does most of the work. Now there's a little bit of a catch here. So when we're doing harmony patching, that's a little bit different. So the IntelliSense won't tell you that this would be incorrect. So let's say that the developer changed the function name here to like calculate, you know, calculate sample success, like this. Now this won't be throwing any errors. The mod will compile in the program here, and I will be able to get the DLL file, but I won't be knowing that the function name has changed before I run the mod. So that's where the QA testing comes in. So there's multiple stages to development, right? So that's where QA testing will catch this. So whenever I start the mod after compiling it, the melon loader will try to find a function in the game's DLL file called calculate sample success, you know. So whenever this is get sample success, it won't be finding anything because it's renamed, right? It's renamed, it won't be finding anything. So that's when melon loader will say, okay, well, here's here's a big red text for you, and it's full of like errors and null references or something like that, you know. But the melon loader will log, and that will tell you that, okay, something has changed with this specific patch, because it's not finding a function named after this. That's how you keep up with a lot of the naming conventions and changes to the code base, basically. That's all you need to do. So it's two things. One, you look out for the logs, and then two, you follow IntelliSense. So whatever the IDE is saying is wrong, you gotta just like go after it. Riled Up Riley asks, Benzies appear after defeating them. Is that scripted? No, no, it's not. Like I think I'm pretty sure that they still appear like after being defeated. Like that's the default. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that though. I'm not exactly sure. But I haven't coded in anything that would basically change the behavior after being defeated. I think maybe the gathering event, like this one, where they gather, maybe this one has it, because I'm pretty sure that this is the only thing that doesn't have. Let's check. Do the Benzies goons gather? Do they gather after being hostile? Is there any restrictions on that? I don't see any restrictions on it, so I take my word back. Yes, the cartel gathering is scripted, so that the cartel goons they gather when the cartel is not even like present in the game, and then also when they are friendly, and then hostile, and then after the game. So, and then I don't think anything else. I don't think anything else should happen. Like the gathering is the only thing. I'm pretty sure. Like the ambushes, those are disabled, and then the quests are also disabled. I wonder if the mini quest, I'm pretty sure the dialogue, the one where you hunt for the dead drops, I think that one should not be. Where is it? I can't find it. Quests, mini quests. So I think this one should also be like only when it's hostile. Yeah, it says here. Only when hostile. So Rolled Up Riley asks, is it fine to make videos about Cartel Enforcer and a cop's flatline? Why wouldn't it be? I'm totally fine with it. I don't really care. I think they're funny as fuck, you know. Yeah, and if you do make videos, be sure to like leave a link to my GitHub page or like the Thunderstore mod page or something in the description. You know, I would appreciate it. You don't have to, but I would appreciate it. We need to combat the misinformation. The misinformation shall not be. So I would appreciate a little bit of attribution. Wild Up Riley asks, do you have any mod ideas or mod plans in the future? Well, I don't have any new mod ideas. Like, I'm probably not gonna develop a lot of new mods, but I'll keep working on the existing ones, hopefully, to keep them up to date with the game. And then also for Cartel Enforcer especially, I'm gonna work with the end game. So let's say that you've finished playing the game and you've defeated the cartel. My plan is to extend that basically. So the end game is kind of lacking. I think that's the public sentiment. So after you've defeated the cartel, it's mostly about just maxing out your production and getting every single customer and dealer, and that's about it. And then in the future, of course, there's gonna be the traveling customers that occasionally pop up in the city. But so for the cartel, I'm planning on doing something for that. I don't know what yet. And then also for Cartel Enforcer, when you're allied with the cartel, right? It implements a lot of new features already, so you can work with the cartel while you're allied, like hire the dealers and shit. But for that, I'm planning on doing like a lot of this. So I think it was a month ago that I first started working with the allied features. So this is all that's planned for the allied features. So there's a new quest basically. So when you're working with the cartel, you're going to have to fight the cops together with the cartel and help the cartel transport a lot of cocaine in the docks or somewhere, that's the plan. And then the cops are coming over to you, and you gotta kill the cops with the cartel basically. Or not in the docks, but the waterfront. And then what else? Cartel related vehicle quest where a player must drop off items. So something like you gotta help cartel distribute something in the city. I don't know how that's gonna work, but that's one of the plans. And then there was a combat challenge idea for the cartel. So when you're allied with the cartel, you're invited to a cartel street brawl. So you gotta go fist fight the cartel. You gotta prove that you're one of the Benzis while you're allied with them, basically. And then that's like a quest. And then from also this one would be interesting. So when you're going hostile with the cartel, this was recommended to me too. You can go back to the truce, so you can go back to being allied with the cartel later on in the game, even when you've been hostile with them. And then while truce with the cartel allows player to launder money through the Benzis. I don't know if that sounds good, launder money with the Benzis. Leave money at the manor and then launder the money. I don't know how that's gonna work. That's gonna need a little bit of implementation. That's what's planned for the Cartel Enforcer in regards to that. I don't know if there's anything else that are planned for the mod, honestly. Yeah, that's about it for this mod. But then for the NA Cops mod, I'm gonna keep working on probably the mechanics for the raid and stuff like that. Riled Up Riley says, nice, thanks for the hard work. I like how you make really good mods. These stuff are stuff Tyler would have done. Cool, bro. Yeah, I agree. And but honestly, some of the stuff that I make for the mods aren't necessarily what's good for the game per se. And what I mean by that is it doesn't serve the general player base. That's what I mean by it. So some people like difficulty, some people like management. So the mods are mostly about serving different types of player bases. So some people might think that the game is not difficult enough. You know, they can download the mod and tweak about and make it as difficult as they want, basically. And then some of the features are more like, okay, well, this has been recommended by the community, but it hasn't been implemented in the game yet, right? So I'm making a framework of what the feature could be, and you know, if that comes up as a reasonable solution for the base game, you know, I won't complain if it gets added into the base game. That's what I'm saying. So a lot of it is just, it's like a concept. It's like a concept that I'm honing and then seeing what works. And maybe someday in the future stuff like this will get added into the base game. But difficulty is one of those things that's really important for any game. Speaking about anti-cops, did I download it wrong? I don't experience any raids. Well, the raids are kind of hard, you know, like you gotta have the private investigator. The private investigator has to investigate you and your properties. So, you know, you gotta have a property that's producing a lot of drugs, right? And then the investigator needs to investigate while you're in the property, right? So they need to gather evidence. They don't just bust into any building, you know, nilly-nilly. They gotta have evidence, concrete proof that you are producing drugs so that they can raid it. But yeah, it takes, I'd say, if you play for about 5 or 6 hours and you're like doing drugs and the private investigator sees you, then I'm pretty sure that's like a guaranteed raid. That's the kind of limit. But you know, if you wanna experience the raid, you can also like type into the console anti-cops, I think it's like spawn raid, and then the index is something, so you'd need to go anti-cops list raid. That's gonna print into the console the properties like this, property name. So then you're gonna go like anti-cops spawn raid, and then if, let's say barn, let's say you have barn as 4, then you can like type anti-cops spawn raid 4. I think that's how you do it. That's what I programmed into it, so that you can like spawn the raid into your property if you want to, if you want to experience it. I'm gonna make sure that I'm correct about that one though. Anti-cops spawn raid. Where is the command? Oh yeah, so let's say you have a bungalow. So bungalow is this. So you can like spawn the raid at bungalow with this. And then you can see what the properties are by typing this command. So anti-cops list raid. This is also gonna show you the property heat in the console. So let's say you haven't experienced any raids, but the private investigator has done some investigation, right? So when you type this command in, it's gonna say something like bungalow property heat like 8 or something. It's gonna say something like this. So when this property heat increases, that's gonna trigger the raid, basically. Raldo Prado says, oh, I guess it's because I kept destroying them. Plus, I love the flatline mode. I just think, like, remember you like walk slower. I think you should be configurable and it can be turned off also. Yeah, the sprinting, the sprinting logic. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like that's in the base game, I think, also, but it's not enabled at all, if I remember correctly. Just not in the game. Uh, like walk slower. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna keep that in mind. I'm gonna keep that in mind. I can definitely do it. But now the stolen customers, they need to be saved. How do I do that? Where do I code it? Where does it fit? It's in the config loader here. So I think I'm gonna go and do it here. Region and region. So when the cartel steals back the player's customers, it needs to be saved. The amount of samples offered to the customers needs to be saved for those stolen customers. So I think I need to track two things. So first of all, I need to track if it's a stolen customer, and then the ID for it, and then the amount of samples that's been offered. So oh my goodness, let's take this one. And I need to probably declare a configuration for it so it's like serializable. So I'll do it here. So it's all in the same place. Visible. God, too much code. There we go. So here. So the stolen NPC will be the class which holds the runtime object, and then when I save it, I want it to be a serializable, so I'll just like do this, but then change the NPC to be string and then NPC ID. And then realistically this would be never -1. So always 1 or above. Above or equal to 1. And then I'll just name it serialized. Then I need a JSON serializable tag so that I can just write it into JSON. And then actually I think that's all I need. So whenever the customer gets re-unlocked, then it will be removed from the stolen NPCs, I guess. No, but then yeah. So I don't need another class here. But there's another problem here. There's another problem here. So when the customer gets re-unlocked, I need to somehow be able to untrack the stolen NPCs, basically. And there's no function for it right now. So I need to basically patch. I need to patch. I need to patch another one, which is sample was sufficient. So this function needs a prefix to indicate that a stolen NPC was check if instance is stolen NPC and then remove from tracked. That's what basically needs to happen for the persistence to work. So that's all I need. I need the config. Let's say this is so this can be a list of stolen. I need to declare the using here. Using static Cartel Enforcer stealback. Now I can access the list of stolen NPCs. Load stolen customers. Name it like that for convenience. And then I'll make a new list right away. Customers. And then I need to fix this one. So where am I gonna put it though? In the file system. So this has to be save specific, just like the Cartel stolen items. Yeah, it needs like same thing as these ones. Needs to be save specific. How am I gonna do it though? I think I'm just gonna make like a new directory for it. So I'm gonna say that a path to the directory is path stolen customers, and then stolen customers is gonna be the name for the directory. And then the file names are gonna be the same thing, so it follows this. Get path to. So I'm gonna remove this one. I'm gonna use this one as a template. And then this one finds the file, so I need to declare here that it's a path to the stolen customers, and then the file name is going to be the save file name, so that it tracks it per save, right? And then if the path to the stolen customers exists, I'm gonna say that but now I need to deserialize the object, so and I'm pretty sure I cannot just serialize this, so I think I could do it like this. So the field NPC isn't serializable, but instead it would be ID, maybe. Then I need to say like no. How am I gonna do it? Whatever. It's a little bit of overhead. I'll just do it like this. And then this is always 1 or above. Right. Now, yeah, this is correct. Or not. Because I cannot do, yeah, I cannot do it like that. I'm pretty sure I cannot. So it has to be like, I need it like this. Fucking no, god damn it. I'll just do it like this, whatever. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. And then I'll just say that a public list of the serialized ones, stolen customers equals new, like this. And then I'll mark this one as serializable. So that should handle the config. And then I'll just serialize to this one, or convert, not serialize. So this will be like this. And that should be able to handle it. And then for convenience, I'll just take out these ones, because I don't really need that, or that, or that. Handles the JSON logic. And then because this one needs to return a list of stolen NPCs, or I can just do this maybe. So I'll just return the serialized ones. The data here. But this one will be an empty list. Deserialize stolen customer data. And then by default, per save, it's gonna make an empty stolen customers list in the JSON directory. I think that's That's reasonable. I still need to write the save function here for it, but I think that should work though. Save stolen customers, so it's gonna basically save an empty list here. And then also return USA. Right. Now I need to still figure out this one, so I don't think it's a lot of work, so I need to here use the path stolen customers, right? And then serialize this object and then in the case of any errors warn the user. Right. So now that's all complete. I need to figure out when and where to save. And the logic for doing it back here. So I think here, where is it? Save. If the stealback customers features are enabled, then I want to save. No, I need to first figure out the stolen NPCs. So I have it here. So it's a public static list. Easy like that. Then I need to do a for each. So for each customer, actually no stolen NPC in stolen NPCs. I need to also declare that I am creating a new serialized stolen NPCs data. So data equals new data.stolen customers equals new, and then here I'm declaring that for each NPC I'm creating a new stolen NPC. And then for that, I'm gonna say that the serialized one has NPC ID of npc.id. Perfect. Oh, that's absolutely horrible. How can I make this clearer? Stolen NPC. I'll do it like this. Because it's a property or a field or whatever. And then the serialized one has also the sample chances. So stolen NPC dot sample chances. That's basically it. And then, no, that's not it. So then after all of this, the data stolen customers needs to be appended. So I'm appending the serialized one to the stolen customers so that the data can be saved. Now I need to call the save function here, and because it's an override, it will already know what I'm saving, like this. I think that's all for the saving. Is there anything I'm missing here? When the customers get deleted from the stolen NPCs, they won't save, which is correct, but I still need to do it. I think the loading one, I'll do the loading one. So it's mod initialization here somewhere here. So I'm loading. I don't like how this works. But again, if the steal by customers feature is being toggled on and off during runtime, I think it still needs to track it. So it has to be loaded instantly. So I think this one needs to actually be list of stolen NPCs, like this, for convenience. It makes sense. And then here I can do a check if the stolen customers is not null, which is never the case, basically. But for convenience, I want to write it out. And then also I can do the same. So if the stolen customers count is not 0, then I'll start to declare them. So I'll do it like this too. Something like this. So now it makes sense. Stolen customers. Now I can append into this a new stolen NPC, but then again I need to basically declare it first because I don't have data for it. So stolen NPC loaded stolen NPC whatever equals new, and then stolen NPC and I need a field for it because I'm using the NPC. So how am I gonna do this? How am I going to do this? Well, the latter one is easy because it's just like sample chances processed equals serialized. No, it's a for each loop. So for each stolen NPC serialized, they're in serialized customers.stolen customers. So it's like this, and then pop that right into there. So I need to do this basically. And then here, sample chances is like this. Now how do I do the NPC? Because I probably need to use the namespace, and then because there's like a static, I'm pretty sure there's like a static field that holds all of the NPCs, but it wouldn't really make sense to iterate over all of the NPCs because that's like wasted computation. There's police, there's dealers, all of which are not customers. So when I'm iterating, I should only take into account the customers when assigning the NPC here. Is there like a one-liner I can use here? So customer economy.customers unlocked. No. There's locked and unlocked, basically. Would it make sense? Wait, could I only use the locked ones? So I'm loading the stolen customers. So by default, I'm checking the NPC ID. So any unlocked customer should not be tracked by this feature at all. So that narrows it down again to locked customers. So any edge case would be covered by it. So I can just iterate over this one for each customer see in locked customers. But then again, I have to iterate inside of this, which I don't like. So it's like for each and then for each. So I'm going over the locked customers again and again and again. It doesn't make sense. But the logic is this. I'll just write the logic out. So the stolen NPC field equals to the c.npc basically. That's the logic. So that I can use this one to track it later. But then how do I get rid of this loop? I don't want this inner loop. I don't like it. So in IL2 CPP, this is going to be missing all of the iterators and every single function. So I can't really use like I can't really do anything like this, like first x where x npc dot id equals to sir.npci. Like, I cannot do this in IL2CPP. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. So even if I write it like this in mono, it's going to work. But in IL2CPP, it's gonna say like, oh, well, this IL2CPP dictionary, this IL2CPP system list, it doesn't have a method. Missing method first. So I cannot use this in IL2CPP, but in mono, this works. And behind the scenes, this is probably gonna be a for each loop anyways, so. But it's one-liner. What I could instead do is to make it faster so that I only need one for each loop here. One here and then one here. So I'm iterating first over the customers. And I can probably do like, yeah, I can do this list of strings, and this will be IDs. No, what the fuck? No. Or yes. So then I only need the ID from this one. But what am I gonna do with the IDs then? Then with the IDs, I'm gonna check like, for each customer, if the IDs contains locked customer ID, then I assign it like this. So that gets rid of the inner loop, basically. So I'm gonna do it like that. But I still need the IDs from the stolen customers to serialized data. And I don't think there's any extension method here. I'm gonna like, I just do it like this. Come on, give me that, give me that. Give me that for loop, for each loop. It doesn't do it for me, god damn it. I'll just do it like this, for each X. And then I say IDs, we're gonna append x.npcid, like this. That's a two-liner. So it's still one for each loop behind the scenes. And then I'm gonna flip this around, so I'm gonna be iterating over this one. For each customer C in Riled Up Riley asks, random question, but do you know any mods that are incompatible with Cartel Enforcer? Well, that's a hard question, you know. Like, I cannot say with certainty that some mods wouldn't work with Cartel Enforcer, but knowing that the mod is very it's extensive, let's say it that. It touches upon a lot of systems that are essential for the game. So there is a high probability that some mods wouldn't be compatible. I'll just put it like that, you know. But I've tried to take into account that other mods would be installed too. I've tried to take that into account, but it won't always work, you know. But if you have a specific mod in mind that you'd like to investigate, maybe there's like incompatibility with it, you can always let me know about the mod. Like I can look at the description of the mod and then figure out if it maybe uses same code regions in the mod that would be overlapping. I can always assess that and try to make it compatible with other mods. But with some in some scenarios it just won't work, you know. Some mods are just, you know, too conflicting to be even fixed. And sadly, Cartel Enforcer is one of those mods that is it has a high probability of being incompatible with other mods. Now where was I? So for each customer, in the logged customers, I'm gonna check that if the IDs contains c.id, right? If it contains that, then I need to declare that there's a new stolen NPC, and then that NPC is gonna be assigned like this, and then I can easily access that one like this. So I can do it here, because this won't be like IL2 CPP system thing. So I can do first x where x NPC ID equals like this, just like this. This should do it. I'm pretty sure no. And then I have to, yeah, like that. So now I get rid of all of this code, basically. Or no. And then here, stolen customers, add stolen NPC. This. So that narrows it down. Now it's way cleaner. There's no for each inner loop. So there's only one depth here and then one depth here. Of course there's always the first here, but it doesn't matter. It's not that bad. But then again, does that make sense? I can get rid of this one. Yeah, I can get rid of this one if I just turn this into a tuple. So I can save an integer here. So ID samples tuple. ID samples tuple. I'll do it like this. and then no, I'll do it as a dictionary. Yeah, I'll do it as a dictionary. So string and then integer id sample dict equals new, and then I can do this add npc id, and then the value is going to be x dot sample chances processed. And then I can check if it contains the key of the npc id. Then I can say here that the value is, I don't have to check the id anymore. I can just access it like this, id sample dictionary, and then get I can probably do it like this. So c.npc.id and then sample chances. Yeah, like this. Because I'm accessing the key here. So it's gonna return me a value. So that's gonna be assigned here instantly. Now it's even cleaner. Is there anything else I can optimize? I don't think there's anything more. Now for this for the loading here, I think it needs to be here. So stolen NPCs need to be loaded. That means that the config loader load stolen customers, and that's gonna return me the stolen NPCs from the persistent data. Now I probably need to make sure that yeah, it's cleared. That's good. And then there is still one thing to do. There is still one thing to do. And that is to make sure that whenever the player re-unlocks the customer, it gets deleted from the tracked stolen NPCs so that it doesn't get saved. Is that it? I think that's it, basically. Yeah. And then I guess it would make sense to ensure that when loading the customers, that the sample chances processed value is within certain bounds. I think that makes sense because it's a modifiable data. And I don't want it to be like not known. So I'm gonna say that I'm gonna clamp this value between 1 and 9, basically. Because I know that those are the limits. Those are the limits that the game needs, or the mod needs, for it to work. And then I can probably even simplify it by doing this. So I'm just taking the value instantly here to clamp it. So that way, if the JSON config is modified, it still shouldn't break that one. But now I need the logic for patching the sample was sufficient. So I'll take this one as a template because it's then I need a comment on it. So I think that's good. Now what does it look like? Sample was sufficient. So it's like this. And then it's a prefix. Yes. And then it's an instance with no function input parameters. And then we check the config, that's correct. And then check if the stolen NPCs count is 0. Yes, that's correct. And then realistically, the game won't be saving while this function runs, so I don't have to worry about the reader writer problem. And then I can safely modify the stealback customers. Then I just remove, right? But I don't have access to the item. So how do I make it simpler so that I can remove it from the tracked customers easily? I probably need a fucking loop here to check it. God damn it. God damn it. Because it's again about the ID, no. No, it's about the customer NPC instance, so because this has, yeah. Like this, yes, I can do this. Then that's gonna make sure that the function runs only when they're is a stolen NPC tracked. That was that customer, that specific customer. So now I can do, this, and then which item I'm gonna remove. So I could say like first, basically here, first x, where x NPC equals again to instance.npc. But then again, I'm running this any loop unnecessarily, because I can just do this first here. I can just run this, and then the benefit of doing this is I can check if it's not null. So if it's not null, then there was a tracked customer that was stolen. And then I can just instantly remove it, right? Like this. So I don't need to run the any loop. So that makes it more simpler. And that's about it. That handles the removal from the persistence system gracefully. So that's it, basically. Alright. 3 tasks done. Complete that. Is there anything else here? What should I do? Implement proper stolen item save randomized inventory patch Cartel hostile. Let's check that one. Because I had that in mind. I was reading the code and then I was like, holy shit, this is awful. What have I done? What have I written here? This is not good. Where is it? It's in the patches. Randomize. Randomize inventory here. So what's the problem here? Yeah, this one. This one is the problem. How do I know that the item instance equals? Like, how do I track it properly? I think the previous logic had something like get hash or something like that, so I can probably like get a hash from this now. No, I don't know. I'm not sure. Because the item instance, it will be equal to the original item, basically. The memory address will be the same, I guess. But I need a proof of concept for this. I need a proof of concept. How will I make it? How will I make it work? So how am I tracking this? Stolen in dealer inventory. Stolen in dealer inventory. here. So when I'm fulfilling the contracts for intercept and then also the cartel customer deals, then during that I'm putting into the dealer's inventory items that are originally stolen from the player, but that shouldn't be deleted by the randomized or the clearing of the inventory. So can I subscribe to, I think the item slot might implement something like subscription service here. I'm pretty sure that could be the answer. Let's see. So there should be, maybe, yes, there is action field. So for example here I could do a call back to monitor that combats the problem, so that when the dealer decrements the number of items, or yeah, if it decreases the item quantity, then it won't be tracking the same item instance anymore. It doesn't match. I'm pretty sure. So then I could basically like do a synchronization of the item instance, so that within this listed loot, when the item instance changes, it will update in the dealer inventory. It will update the item instance within this listed loot so that they are synchronized, and then I can be ensured that this item instance will always be equal to the item instance that's tracked. That solves it, but then where is the function here? So when I do this, it's going to return me up-to-date version of the items. And then basically this becomes redundant because it's always synchronized. Or no? Or no? No, I don't think that works. No. God damn it. No, but it's close. It's close. It's missing something. It's missing something. What is it missing? No, but this makes sense. This basically makes sense. So if I just update the item instance here, so that this would work, then again the quantity here could be changed, but it's still tracking it because the item instance is the same. So then the returnable list adds that up-to-date version, the synchronized version, and then returns it to the stolen items inventory, and then proceeds to clear the inventory. That makes sense. That makes sense. And then I think I want to make a helper function, because I think this occurs in other places too. So I want to be able to do this consistently for each time that I'm adding new stuff into the loot. So And do this maybe. No, instead. So it's something like this. Anyways. I'm gonna make a helper function for it. I think it needs one. So what am I gonna comment on this one? So helper function for tracking players' originally stolen items that reside in Cartel Dealer's inventory. Something like this. And then what am I gonna call it? I'm gonna call it public static. What am I gonna name it? Public static. What is the purpose? Purpose is to track items. So Cartel Stolen Item Tracker. I don't fucking know. And then I was gonna void. Track stolen item in inventory. Something like this. Descriptive. And then I don't necessarily need to return anything, so it can be a void. And then I'm gonna say that I only need I only need dealer, and then I'm gonna do item instance or item, and then this one I'm gonna take out. I don't think that's supposed to be there, honestly. It can stay here, but then again, everything below it is gonna be replaced by the helper function. This needs to be Cartel Dealer, like this. And then it's not gonna be item instance, it's gonna be a list of item instance, and then stolen. Like that. And then I'm gonna replace it here. So like that. And then for the same slot, I'm gonna double check to make sure that the NPC inventory can do it. This actually calls set stored item. So and then I'll keep it like this. That makes sense. And then how do I track it? I need to keep it up to date with the stolen. So I need probably another helper function. Or no, no. Oh, it's here. Yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. So item. So I can keep track of the slot. Like this. I think that should be able to do it though. And then I think there's a bug here. Is there a bug here? Yeah. This exists, but this can return in null. When it's null, it makes a new one. But then I think I have to do this. I'm pretty sure that this is needed. Like this. Otherwise it won't be referencing it. Maybe. So that's a potential bug. But then that's a dictionary. So I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure that the dictionary is isn't the value immutable itself? No, I think it's the key that's immutable. That's how it's supposed to be. Whatever. Now it should work. There may have been a bug here. So now that I know that in the inventory at the slot there are stolen items, then I need to subscribe to the action, basically. So it's either the on item instance changed on or the on item data changed. It's either one of those two. It's either one of those two. But then again, I need to do like an no. Yeah, it's not the slot, it's the item instance that I need to use here. So when I'm doing this, yeah, because this is updating. This calls to add to the item instance dot on data changed, right? This adds a new action to it. So preferably there should be an additional from the mod that handles the update, I guess. Or no, I'm not sure. There's a lot of scenarios where this will break if I implement it like this. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I'll figure it out later. I'll figure it out later. I think that's about it for today. I'm running out of coding juices.